whack them on. Alrighty. So, these kinds of learning and memory studies are what you call associative learning. So you teach the animal to associate an odor with a positive something or with a negative something. And for these little zippy guys, you usually do a Y maze, meaning something as rudimentary as this, and you put the little Planarian at the start point, and then you do 2 stimulants. You do something positive in here, and you do either something negative in here, or you do nothing that I've indicated with a 0. And basically, the little guy will learn that they should prefer this avenue much more so than the bad side of things, right? Which I think is really cool inherently. Then what you do, so with this positive thing, that can be like food or like a high sugar drink, something like that. Usually you pair it with something. So you'll have food plus smell, let's say. So you have 2 stimuli. Then what you do is you put the Planarians in a new Y maze, and you have, either no, or like something bad or no stimulus on one end. And then here, you only have the smell and not the food. So no food this time. And then, if the little worms have remembered that smell equals good thing, they'll still prefer that side. This is in a brand new Y maze, and the same thing will happen even if you switch the sides. So if if we started them on this side here, you can test their memory on this side and vice versa. So that doesn't matter. It's just they detect the odor, and if the memory has held that odor means something good, then they'll go off into that particular side. Yep. Not just these Planarians, but fruit flies have these kinds of memories. You have these kinds of memories. Science Teacher Streamer! Thank you for the bits. Ma'am, how are you doing today? Science Teacher Streamer. I really much enjoyed your stream today, playing that new cat game. It was very, very sad at the beginning, but it was very adorable. And I felt okay about it after the beginning, when that little guy fell. It was very sad, Science Teacher Streamer. Very sad. But it was fun. Planarians can eat memories. What do you mean, Claire? So Claire's I think I know what Claire's talking about. For you, NMD, the memory would be is if I start telling you about a food that you really like. Like, think about some food that you really, really like. If your mouth starts watering, that's the same kind of memory. Because you have a positive association with the food item, and your body is priming itself for eating that particular food. So that is it's a very similar kind of memory. Kind of smell-o-vision-y. Now, what Claire points out, too, is with these little guys, let's say that this one has learned the memory, and this one has not. There's actually cannibalism in this species. Well, they'll eat another Planarian. If you starve them, they'll eat each other. If we'll reverse the image. If this untrained Planarian eats the trained one, it'll actually get the memories and be able to do the test even without ever being trained, which is quite amazing on its own. The same thing is true as if you take this little guy who's learned the memory and you chop him up into a bunch of different pieces. So each one of those little pieces, right, will form a new worm. So there's bits there that didn't have originally the brain. And so if memories are just in the brain, you would think that these lower pieces wouldn't have the memories, right?
Where's my drink?
Thank you, the cheese. Hi. Thank you, the cheese, for the hydrate. But this would suggest that memory is also contained in a molecule as well. Is this helpful for them to remember because you don't want to pursue the bad thing? Hi, Pommy Pom. How are you doing? Welcome back. Yeah, so that would be the example. So, NMD, if there was, if this side is a neutral stimulus and there's no reason to remember a bad thing, then yes, it's a good thing. The alternative too is you can have a negative stimulus and you pair that with an odor, and then you do the reverse. So then you're asking to see if they avoid that particular side. So then even in the absence of the negative stimulus, if you just have the smell that you pair with the negative stimulus, they'll avoid that side. So you can ask the question in both ways. Can they remember something positive or can they remember something negative? And it's usually best to answer both answer the question in both ways, because that's the best way to really have it make sense. Does that answer your question, NMD? I wanted to order a batch of Planarians for my life science kids to look at, but it fell through. Oh, science teacher streamer, that's stick. Biology teacher told me to check the Ponderosa collection. Oh, nice. It's just, if you want particular Planarians, like that are going to regenerate in a particular time, then it's better to get ones where you know the species. Claire, I would happily send some, but I haven't gotten large batches of them. I've gotten small batches of them before, like our ones today. It's not enough for a whole class to do experiments on, unless it's one of those where maybe we can bait them. So they eat things like in the lab setting, you actually give them liver, is what they eat. Organic calf liver is their diet, and so that's what you have to do, like raw. Fell through because the bio teacher and I both tried ordering specimens from a typical supplier that just never filled the orders. Ooh, that stinks. Yeah, you can bait them, NMD. Or I mean, even in the lab, you have to feed them, right? So we feed them the liver. Raw calf liver, and it's actually a real pain, because if you overfeed them and they don't eat everything, you thoroughly have to clean the raw water, because from the bacteria they'll end up dying. Like it just molds away. Does this make sense, NMD? This insane drawing. I hope it makes some level of sense. Possibly, maybe, potentially. About the learning and memory of these little guys. The Y maze, remember, is used not just for planarians, but worms, mice, flies, a bunch of stuff.